Center TV on Twitter and Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Of course, the biggest story we're talking about right now is the major winter storm that is going to be making its way to Michigan very, very soon. Southeast, western, and northern Michigan are all under a winter weather advisory from Wednesday afternoon to Thursday morning. We can expect anywhere from 5 to 12 inches of snow in southeastern Michigan, with Detroit predicted to receive as much as 5 to 9 inches. And of course, the entire community is going to be working very, very hard to make sure things are very easy to navigate all throughout Greater West Bloomfield, including Keego Harbor Public Works, who is hard at work right now. And joining us live right with Keego Harbor Public Works, we have our very own Kevin McIntosh out on the scene. Kevin, what's going on?
Thank you, Jake. Yes, I am live and outside right now at the Keego Harbor DPW Salt and Snow Truck Garage, where the crews are gearing up for these back-to-back snowstorms that are set to hit the Greater West Bloomfield area very, very soon. Now, we recently reached out to DPW foreman, who was very, very busy at the time, obviously getting prepared with the trucks and his crews, was not able to speak with us at the time, but he did share on Facebook that plows will be out around the clock during these snowstorms, making multiple rounds over the next few days to make sure they keep these roads clear and safe. Now, he did remind residents that it's going to take time to get through every single street. So if you don't see the snow and salt trucks immediately, just know that they will be working their way around, and they're still working to get everything cleared. Now, with more snow on the way through the week and the weekend, DPW teams are stocked with salt and ready to tackle the storm head on. So they're just reminding everyone, please stay safe, drive cautiously. And we want to thank DPW and DPW foreman Doug Walden, 30 years committed as a resident here at Keego Harbor, for making our roads safe and clear. Live and outside DPW garage, Kevin McIntosh. Back to you in that warm room temperature studio, Jake.
Thank you, Kevin. I want you to get warm too. Thank you so much for everything. Get inside, get warm, and stay safe just as much as everyone else should be staying safe as this winter storm is going to be making its way right here to Michigan. And of course, with this storm affecting things in the afternoon and tomorrow morning, that means it's going to probably affect your ride home, as it's going to affect your commute tomorrow morning, as the roads are going to be very, very busy and very stuffed with snow, and a lot of great things to deal with here in the four communities. And joining us right now, live on the Splash, we have Craig Bryson with the Road Commission for Oakland County joining us right now. Craig, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. Really important to have you with us to get this information out about this major snowstorm making its way to Michigan. What are some of the biggest concerns that you're seeing with this high amount of snowfall?
Well, it's not only the volume of the snow, it's the consistency of the snow. It's also the duration. We've got this storm, then we'll have about a day break, and then we've got more snow coming on Saturday. So we've got multiple days worth of work here, and it'll take us at least a couple days to clean up at least the initial snowfall. So lots of concerns with this one.
I know. Michigan weather continuing to wreak havoc all across the state. What are some of the things that the Road Commission right now is watching out for, not just for today, but for these upcoming snowstorms that will also be affecting us this weekend?
Well, one of the concerns is the threat that this could start out or part of it could contain freezing rain as well as snow. That's obviously a real challenge. Leads to a lot more icing, and we're concerned about that. The freezing rain can wash our salt off the roads and then lead to refreeze when the temperatures drop again. So that's a big challenge. The intensity of the snow, the forecast is saying we could have snowfall rates of about ½ inch an hour or up to ⅓ of an inch an hour. If we get that kind of snow rate, the roads will be snow covered. We'll be out with all of our equipment. But at that rate, there's no way we can keep up with it. And people just need to know that there will be times when the roads are snow covered during the storm event itself.
My goodness, doesn't sound like a lot of great things are in the forecast right now. Would you say that this might be the biggest storm we've had so far this winter here in Michigan?
Absolutely. It looks like it certainly could. If it turns out to be what the forecast is saying, it will certainly be the biggest one so far this winter season.
Well, you guys are doing everything you can to prepare right now, and I know you're going to be doing a lot of hard work tomorrow once the snowstorm is over to make sure that these roads are clean for when people are starting their commute to work. What are some of the major roads that you guys are probably going to be hitting first?
Right. So our priority system is the roads with the most traffic moving at the highest speeds. So first in that list is the freeways, I-75, 696, M59, 275. Et cetera, and those are the highest priority. Then we move to the major surface streets, which include roads like Orchard Lake Road, 12 Mile Road, outside of your area, Southfield Road, Big Beaver Road, many of the major mile roads. Those are the highest priorities. Working down from there, at the bottom of that list, unfortunately, is the subdivision roads, carrying the least amount of traffic, moving at the lowest speeds. And we want to ask people to please be patient. We will get into the subdivisions, but it'll probably be at least a couple of days till we get things cleaned up. And depending on how much more snow we get on Saturday, it could be after that before we start to really get into the subdivisions if we get as much snow as they're projecting.
That's absolutely right. And for when people are making their commutes to work tomorrow or throughout the rest of the week, what are some very important things that they need to remember if there are some backups and a lot of traffic to deal with on the roads right now?
Yeah, first and foremost, give yourself extra time. Plan to go slower than usual. If it's snowing as hard as they say, the morning rush hour in particular tomorrow could be messy. The afternoon rush hour today could be messy. And once rush hour starts, our trucks can't get through the traffic any faster than anybody else. And so we often see this 2-hour block or so where the roads, even if they've been cleaned before that, become snow covered again because we can't get through the rush hour traffic. Rest assured, we are out and we're doing everything we can. And as soon as the rush hour traffic clears, we'll be able to make good progress again. But again, it could be very slow going during the rush hour periods.
For those just joining us right now in The Splash, we have Craig Bryson from the Road Commission for Oakland County talking about some of the things that the Road Commission is going to be watching out for as these major snowstorms make their way to Michigan very, very soon. And Craig, what are some of the bigger concerns that the Road Commission might be having to deal with these storms that maybe people aren't as aware of or they don't immediately think of?
Well, refreeze is a big concern. When we go out and salt and plow, we get the snow and ice melted, and then there's liquid on the roads, and the temperatures drop. That can quickly refreeze and cause dangerous situations with icing. So we're working constantly to try to prevent or respond to refreeze. That's a big concern. We get these squalls that come through if the wind picks up, and we have essentially whiteout conditions. Again, even if we've been out for hours, that can cover up everything very quickly, and it looks like we haven't been there at all. Those are concerns. The timing of the storm for evening rush hour tonight and morning rush hour tomorrow are big concerns. And again, the duration with this, lasting well into Thursday, Friday being a cleanup day, and then more snow coming on Saturday. We could be out for 5-6 days straight. And that's a human resources challenge for us. Our people need breaks and rest. And even though we'll be running 24 hours a day, we may have to reduce the number of trucks out at times to get people some rest.
That's absolutely right. But I know you guys are going to be very, very hard at work. But for what it sounds like you're selling us all right now is with a lot of snow, but there's also with a lot of ice. It sounds like the bigger danger is going to be more so on the things you can't necessarily see, more so on the things that you do see.
Absolutely. Everybody sees the snow. When there's snow falling, people respond appropriately. The ice sometimes is not clearly visible. It looks like just a wet road, but it may be ice, and that's a real concern for us. And we remind people to please slow down. Please presume there may be some ice and drive appropriately for that. We don't want to see anybody getting in a crash. Everything we do is to try to prevent crashes on the roads, and we need the motorists to help us out by slowing down and using caution.
What are some of the things that maybe the residents can do to also assist? Since the Road Commission is going to be doing so much, what are some things that the residents can do to also help manage the roads?
Well, certainly once we do get into subdivisions, if you're able to move cars off the subdivision streets, that helps us get through the subs more quickly and make sure they're evenly plowed. If you can stay home, it's a great time to. We know many people can't stay home and have to be out on the roads. Again, give yourself extra time. Don't crowd the plow. If you see the snow plows out there, state law says you got to stay 200 feet back from them, 20 feet back when they're stopped at an intersection. So please give them the room they need to do the jobs to make the road safe for the rest of us. Those are drivers out there doing, long hours trying to make the road safe. So please help them out by not crowding the plow.
That's absolutely right. Pitch in a little bit to help make things easy for everyone. Craig, thank you so much for joining us. One quick question before we let you go. Where can people go to gain a little more insight on what to expect with this storm and to gain some updates on what the Road Commission is going to be doing?
The best way to get quick updates is through our social media sites. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Facebook and X are the most updated of our social media platforms, and we'll continue to add new information there as we get it.
And it's great that you do. Great information all right at our fingertips. I know you guys are going to be hard at work. Craig Bryson, thank you so much for joining us today on The Splash.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Always love having you on. Lots of great information to gain from this and lots of hard work that the Road Commission is going to be doing within the next few days. It's definitely going to be a tough ride getting to work in the next few days, but the Road Commission is going to make things as easy as possible. And the rest of the community is looking out for residents as well, as the West Bloomfield Police Department, the West Bloomfield Fire Department was offering some pointers to prepare yourself for these winter storms. As winter storms create a higher risk of car accidents, hypothermia, frostbite, carbon monoxide poisoning, and heart attacks from overexertion. If you are under a winter storm warning, it's important to find shelter immediately. Stay off the roads, stay indoors, and dress warmly. Prepare for power outages, and if you are using a generator, make sure that it is being used outside of your home. Be on the lookout for emergency information and alerts, and make sure to check in on your neighbors every once in a while. Make sure that they are okay as well. And if you're looking for more information from the fire department themselves, you can check them out on their Facebook at WB Fire Department to learn more information on how to protect yourselves and keep yourselves safe as these winter storms start to roll in. The Orchard Lake Department of Works is also doing everything they can to keep the roads safe with a much safer alternative to traditional rock salt. I had the chance to stop by Orchard Lake Town Hall recently to hear about their process and how it's helpful for the environment.
So we basically take a bucket of salt with our tractor, load it in the brine maker, and that thing is basically the same thing as a big hot tub, if you will. We just mix it up until it gets to 23.3 salinity, if you will, pump it into our tanks. Once it gets in our tanks, we will mix it with beet juice, which is either an 80-20 or a 90-10, and pump it on the roads. It's better than just using rock salt, if you will, right? It's already pre-diluted salt as it is, so you're already putting a pre-diluted product on the roads. So it's less intrusive into the lakes and our streams and whatnot. When we spray it on the roads, it basically, it stops from the bonding of the snow. So if you can imagine, you come home from work, you drive on your driveway, it gets hard packed down. This basically stops it from getting hard packed. So when we go and plow it, it just comes right off, basically. This stuff actually has a lower melting point, if you will, so it will work. So salt only works to about 15 degrees. This stuff we can actually, like last week I used it at -2, and it actually was melting snow without a problem. Where most other communities, their roads were all snow covered, ours were wet at -2 degrees.
What I have actually seen through the years, and with our DPW staff having this thing dialed in, is we actually use less salt over the years, which is better for our environment, better for our roads, and it's just a great process they've got dialed in here. The thing is we have a lot of environmental ordinances that we deal with as far as protecting our water quality in our lakes, and this is just another aspect of how we're doing that here in the city. Obviously, with these new facilities we just acquired a year and a half, 2 years ago, they're able to maintain the equipment better, wash it after every snow event, so we get better longevity out of our equipment itself. But again, just dialing in on the winter maintenance program and protecting our city and our environment.
Have the winters gotten safer over the last couple of years?
No doubt about it. I think we take a lot of pride, our DPW takes a lot of pride in how we do our winter maintenance. I think that we get a lot of accolades from our residents about how clean our streets are, our local streets are. In fact, a lot of them have comments about, hey, I can get out of my subdivision, but once I get out on the county roads, I can't go anywhere because they're snow covered. But we do take a lot of pride on maintaining our roads properly.
How do you see things continuing to grow with this department and for winters in the future?
Well, I see that these guys, there's every year it seems like come out with a new product, new techniques. So these guys stay up to tune on all those new techniques, and we're just going to refine the process or just fine tune it the best we can to do what we've been doing over the years.
It's a very fascinating process, and I already know that the Orchard Lake DPW is going to be very hard at work within the next few days, just as the Keego Harbor DPW is, as well as everyone throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community. So big thank you to Mike and Jerry for allowing me to get that information firsthand. Lots of other great stories and great topics to get into right after this quick break. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hey, Michigan, let's think beyond the sink and learn where the water your family drinks every day comes from. Private wells and public water supplies allow homes across Michigan to draw water from different sources, like lakes, rivers, and groundwater. Tap into the facts about your home's water source and learn about your home's water quality to protect your family's health.
Hi, I'm Lauren Azuri, the Park Naturalist Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations to you, Civic Center TV, for hitting 1 million views on YouTube. We really appreciate your partnership in spreading nature education in a creative way in our community. I'm Lauren Azuri, proud to be 1 in a million.
back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Work is being done every single day to make Greater West Bloomfield that much better. And all that's being done by talking to our residents and understanding what they want to see from the city. And that is exactly what McKenna has been doing to understand what the residents want and using that to help put together their master plan for the city of West Bloomfield. Joining us right now on The Splash, we have the Senior Principal Planner for McKenna, Brian Kesey, joining us right now. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us and interested to get into this conversation. What can you tell us about what this master plan is? What is the master plan and why is it necessary?
Yeah, the master plan is a document for the township that talks about specifically land use policy and shapes the vision for what you want to see in terms of residential uses, commercial uses, industrial where it makes sense, things like that. So we're developing policy for the township that can eventually be turned into regulation so that we can hopefully encourage the development that the township is seeking in the future.
Interesting. And you gather all this information from talking to the residents of the community. And what have been some of the things that the residents have wanted to see here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Yeah, so we completed about the end of 2024 an online survey and collected responses from residents, business owners, property owners, and even those that just work in the community and live elsewhere. We've heard a variety of things relating to more housing options, a concern for needing to develop some affordable options so that people can move to the township and continue their lives in the township. We've heard a lot of demand for additional restaurants and activity centers along Orchard Lake and amenities for families with younger children. So those are the big topics. I'd also say that one of the things that we learned is the preservation of natural resources, one of the things that drives people to the township and continues to be. And so everybody almost across the board really placed an emphasis on the importance of maintaining that moving forward as we continue to develop and add more services.
Of course, it's always a great priority to keep those natural resources safe. And gathering all of this information, how does the collected info impact how this master plan is formed for West Bloomfield?
Yeah, we will summarize all the feedback that we have gotten to date. We still are doing some individual interviews with, we're planning to meet with the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater West Bloomfield Faith Alliance. So we still have some work to do, but we will be gathering and summarizing all of the comments where there are trends that we can incorporate into the plan. In terms of goals and objectives, we will certainly do that.
Joining us right now on The Splash, we have Brian Kesey, the Senior Principal Planner of McKenna, talking about the master plan process with West Bloomfield and what it's like to be gathering this information from the residents and executing it properly to the city. And you're also working with a lot of big developers here in West Bloomfield. How does that factor in with working with township officials on constructing the master plan, within working with these big developers?
Yeah, we have had some individual interviews with the residential development companies that are frequently doing work within the township and trying to understand what is working, what is slowing them down in the development process, and trying to get a better understanding of how we as the township can improve processes to help support some of the housing options that we need and anticipate. And working with them to communicate some of the amenities that the township, the boards and planning commission expect when those projects come before the township for approval.
And in working with some of these big developers like Apex Apartments and Town Court Apartments on Orchard Lake Road, what might that lead to as we see in the future for developments?
Those projects that are already completed are good models for the amenities that we hope to see in that particular area, especially along Orchard Lake. The township already includes some requirements for points of interest, things like public art, benches, pedestrian amenities, things like that, that we anticipate. We anticipate those to be incorporated into additional developments as they come online.
Interesting. And one of the other big things that you guys are talking about a lot, or the Planning Commission has discussed a lot, is an Orchard Lake corridor in the town center district. How critical is that area to the future of township planning, would you say?
I think it's already been identified as the heart, if you will, of activity within the township, and will continue to need to be. We've spoken with the Planning Commission, and several of those commissioners felt it very important for us to develop some activity nodes along that corridor to encourage people within the township and even outside of the township to come visit and spend time.
That's absolutely right. You want to make sure you bring everyone right here to Greater West Bloomfield and enjoy everything that it has to offer. Now, there is a timeline in place with the master plan. How is it looking right now, and how would you say you guys are in terms of keeping that pace right now?
Yeah, so when we started this project, it was approximately a 12-month timeline from initiation to when we hope to have the plan adopted. I mentioned we finished up the online engagement at the end of the year, finishing up some of these individual interviews to collect public feedback, and then we'll start drafting over the next couple months. So our hope is to have a draft of the plan to the Planning Commission in late April, maybe early May. At that point in time, we'll make some adjustments. We'll talk about specifics that need to be incorporated into the plan. And then we'll follow the state guidelines for publishing notice and requesting additional feedback from the public. So once the Planning Commission sees the draft and are happy with it, they will make a recommendation to the Township Board to send that out for public comment. And then there's a 63-day, so about a 2-month period of time where the township is open to collect feedback from the public. So we hope that the residents, business owners all continue to do that and monitor that plan and provide us some feedback on if we have hit the mark and what other things that we should consider before the plan goes to final adoption. So that would put us on pace later this fall to formally adopt the full plan.
All right, great to hear about all of these updates. And how can the residents of West Bloomfield continue to get involved in helping with this master plan and helping you guys along?
Yeah, we have a website. It's www.westbloomfieldplans.com. You can also connect to that website through the Planning Department page on West Bloomfield Township's website. We are posting updates to the schedule, next steps, draft text as it will become available will go onto that website. So that is our hub for information for the plan.
All right, great information to have out there. Brian, any additional information you could provide for us before we let you go?
No, we just encourage our residents to keep an eye on the plan, provide feedback, however you feel is appropriate. We do have contact information on that website, and we're happy to listen.
All right, well, we can't wait to see what's to come in the next few months right here in West Bloomfield. Brian, thank you so much for your time today on The Splash.
Thank you for having me, Jake.
Absolutely. It's always fascinating to hear about the things that are behind the scenes to help this community along and how we as residents can factor into a lot of these big changes. So we really appreciate Brian coming on and explaining this process to us here on The Splash. With the winter continuing to rage on throughout the next couple weeks, there's going to be spring coming up very, very soon here in Greater West Bloomfield, which means it's going to be time to get outside and enjoy some fun outdoor sports. One of those sports being soccer, and there's going to be a very fun soccer class coming up soon with the West Bloomfield Parks and a partnership with Liverpool FC International Academy, and a great way to get outside and get moving as spring comes to town. And here to tell us more about this great class, we have Jenna Taylor, the program director and youth technical director for Liverpool Football Center International. Jenna, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us, and really happy to be getting into these topics because I'm, like a lot of people, looking forward to winter coming to an end and for spring and summer to be gracing the great state of Michigan very, very soon. And this soccer program is going to be a great way to get everybody outside and involved. So talk to me a little bit about what this program does.
Awesome. So to kind of give you some context, a couple years ago, my club owner made a partnership with West Bloomfield Recreation to expand our Reds Junior Academy and Mini Reds program and provide access and opportunities to work with the Liverpool curriculum and provide a great soccer experience with fun, energetic sessions and quality coaching. So my role, I am the program director. I oversee a bunch of different Reds Junior Academies throughout the area. And so I was really excited to expand into West Bloomfield and start something.
Awesome, and we're glad to have you with us and excited to be seeing what this class is going to do for the great people of West Bloomfield. But I do want to ask, because there have been a lot of soccer classes around here and around the state of Michigan, what makes this specific one stand out from the rest?
It is affiliated with the Liverpool International Academy, Michigan. That is a partnership with Liverpool in the UK. So we have access to their sessions, their accreditation processes, so it can help provide better staffing. And again, a better session that's designed, that's age appropriate, developmentally appropriate, maximizes the time with the soccer ball, as well as provides a safe, energetic, safe space to apply those skills. I think that is what makes us different. And we really focus on the kids and providing a really fun experience for them. Because again, sometimes, you want to have the ball all the time, all day, every day. And we do a really good job of providing that technical development, some basic tactics of the game, and providing that space to apply it right after in a 20 to 30 minute scrimmage. It's so great to see how they've improved in one session alone. Are they applying those skills, and are we encouraging them to actually try to do a skill or a pass versus just run around like madmen and mad women and score lots of goals? We try to really emphasize skill development.
Awesome. And it's great that you guys are working so well to educate a lot of kids on the sport of soccer, or football as it's known in the UK. I watch Ted Lasso. But I do want to ask, what is it like for a place like Liverpool and for their soccer programs to be helping out so many people all across the United States and here in West Bloomfield?
It's really great. So my background, actually, I'm from Michigan. I grew up on the east side of the state. I played soccer at Oakland University, and I actually played for our club owner, Andy Wagstaff, who has been in the Bloomfield Hills community for many, many, many years. His former club was called Bloomfield Force, or Force Football Club. So it's been a great way to stay in this community. From the United States and global perspective, it is awesome to be a part of something that, the words we use is it's a global coaching academy. I can see a session that's in Egypt. What a cool opportunity to see how you can use a specific game that you never thought of. And I have the ability to access that and apply it in the United States and in the West Bloomfield community. So I do really appreciate that it is a true connection to the United Kingdom and the UK. and that I have that ability to develop as a coach, to get different accreditations and really grow my coaching knowledge. And that translates to the kids, and it provides those children with a better environment. And again, I'm really big into soccer and education. So that's how it makes us different, is we are a coaching academy and we are looking to get better so that we can provide a better experience for those children.
That is great to hear. For those just joining us right now on The Splash, we have Jenna Taylor, the Program Director and Youth Technical Director for Liverpool International Academy, Michigan, joining us right now on The Splash to talk about their soccer classes that they are doing in conjunction with West Bloomfield Parks. And you've got a soccer class coming up very, very soon that's going to be starting on Sundays on February 23rd at the West Bloomfield Middle School for ages 4 to 11. Can you tell a little bit about what that class and the other classes that you guys have coming up are going to entail?
Yeah, so I have a really great staff that has been at the Winter 1 session, and we are on a gym floor, and sometimes that can scare people because they're like, well, how is that soccer? But we are working on a lot of ball mastery, whether it is a mini red who is 4 to 6 years old, and we're helping them learn how to control the ball, have lots of fun, obviously, and play a lot of games. And for our Reds Junior Academy, which is 6 to 12 years old, it is a lot of, again, ball mastery, working on a gym floor. The speed of play is a little bit different. And again, you're going to hear me say it a lot, but skill development is super important to us. And it just makes it a better experience for the player. So we have a curriculum for that. And we have sessions that are designed to help those children control the ball on that fast surface and be able to play a little bit better soccer by the end of the session. And it leads right into spring season.
Great. That's always what you want to see. And what is some information you can provide to some parents or some kids who might be watching right now looking to get involved with this program and to play the sport for themselves?
Yeah, we have a lot going on in West Bloomfield. I'm really excited about it. Again, we have our Winter 3 session through West Bloomfield Recreation. So it's really simple. You go to your West Bloomfield Recreation website, you type in Liverpool, and you can see our Winter 2 spring program is live, and you can stay tuned for some summer camps that we will be providing in the area. So lots of soccer in West Bloomfield is coming. And before you know it, the fall comes around. It's crazy.
That's right.
We are really working all year round.
Time goes very, very quickly, and it's great to see everything that you do. And you're absolutely right, because along with the winter class I just mentioned, there's also going to be a spring class that's going to be from April 12th to May 31st. That one will be taking place at Drake Sports Park. So that one's probably going to be moving outside as opposed to the inside classes at the middle school. And you touched on this a little bit, but what's the big difference from indoor soccer and outdoor soccer?
Me personally, that I enjoy the sunshine so much. So that warm feeling of being out on the field and, the smell of the grass is so nice. At my club that I work at, we are a full year club program. So we are very accustomed to being indoors, but there is nothing like that sunshine, especially with this cold weather that we've been having.
That's absolutely right. Well, Jenna, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I got one more quick question for you before we let you go. Where can people go to gain a little more information about your club and about the classes that you guys have to offer?
Yeah, so for the West Bloomfield Recreation program, I would go to the main website, type in Liverpool, and that is how you will find our program. It's called the Mini Reds program, Reds Junior Academy program. And if you are to type in Liverpool International Academy, Michigan, I am at the central site, which is Bloomfield Hills, Oakland County area. You can also type my name in probably, and you'll find me. I'm a jack of all trades at our club. I do our camps, our programs, and I coach young girl teams. So 3 ways to find us. Type in Liverpool and find us in Bloomfield, West Bloomfield.
Lots of great ways to get informed. Jenna, we thank you so much for your time and joining us right now on The Splash today.
No, thank you for the opportunity, and we're looking forward to the Winter 2 session.
Glad to have you with us, Jenna. That's going to be so much fun for all of the kids here in West Bloomfield as the snow is eventually going to melt and everyone can get outside and start to enjoy that warm spring and summer air. But that's going to be great to expect from West Bloomfield Parks. February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease being the leading cause of death in the U.S., but impacting some communities disproportionately, efforts are being done every single day to help educate heart health in the community. And there's a local West Bloomfield student who is doing just that and was recently nominated by the American Heart Association as one of their 2025 Teen Impact nominees. That student is joining us right now on The Splash, Matilda Edvardson from West Bloomfield High School. Glad to have you with us.
Nice to see you.
Really happy to be getting into this conversation. First of all, congratulations on your nomination. What is it like to be recognized by the American Heart Association in this way?
Yeah, so it's a really great honor because with my work with WB Has Heart, I have been striving to raise awareness about sudden cardiac arrest in my local community through CPR training events, AED awareness, and our most recent student heart check event at West Bloomfield High School. So now that I get to bring it further with the American Heart Association, I'm so thrilled, and I can't wait to even make a bigger impact and raise money for the American Heart Association and spread awareness even more.
Well, it's amazing to hear of all of the great accomplishments that have already come your way with West Bloomfield Has a Heart, which is your organization that is helping to prioritize and educate a lot of people about heart health here in Greater West Bloomfield. And you've been doing a lot of great stuff throughout this month of February to continue your mission. What have you guys been working on to promote heart health this month so far?
Well, so on February 1st, we kicked it off with our student heart checks at West Bloomfield High School, where we had around 350 students come and get their heart checked by cardiologists. And so they got an EKG, an echocardiogram, blood pressure check, and they got CPR trained. So that really helped to identify students with any heart issues that they were unaware of. And because the Teen of Impact just began February 7th, I'm working with my HOSA chapter to find ways to raise money and spread awareness. So we are figuring that all out soon.
And go into a little bit about the importance of the CPR training that you guys were offering, because I'd imagine that it's a little more complicated than what you typically see in CPR training as it's sometimes portrayed in the media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, CPR training is really crucial because if sudden cardiac arrest ever happens, you don't know what to do and you might panic. And having that further training, that can really make sure that lives are saved. And it's honestly easier than it seems. When you get a little bit of education on it, it can really go a long way.
Fantastic. And teaching all of these great things to your fellow classmates, that's got to be an incredible feeling. What has been their response in taking in this knowledge? And do you feel that it has already made a difference throughout the rest of the community with your fellow students?
Honestly, I think it has made a big impact because prior to West Bloomfield Has Heart, many students were unaware of the dangers of sudden cardiac arrest and didn't really know the difference between sudden cardiac arrest and a heart attack and how it can honestly impact students because it's mainly thought that it impacts older people. So I've heard great things from students, and it has been a talk around the school, and I think that is really important because it gets people thinking about the importance of educating themselves.
For those just joining us right now in The Splash, we have Matilda Edvardson, a West Bloomfield High School student who was just recently nominated by the American Heart Association as one of their 2025 Teen Impact nominees for all of her great work in educating the general community about heart health. And I want to get into talking about all of these great things that you're doing for the community, but what has been the community's response to everything that you've been doing from maybe some of the West Bloomfield officials?
Yeah, so we've had great responses. We've had the fire department helping with our CPR training and promoting our events. We've had the West Bloomfield Youth Assistants give grants and promote us even more on social media. And members in the community have bought on our t-shirts to spread our logo around and educate people on what WB Has Heart is and our mission. And I think we've reached many community members, not just in the school, but beyond that. And I think that's really inspiring.
That is great. And with this being American Heart Month, there's always things that people can be educated on that maybe they weren't typically aware of when it comes to heart health. What are some factors for heart disease that maybe people might not be typically aware of?
Yeah, so honestly, like having a heart disease, like you might not know because you might not have family history. It's not always because of family history. And there's a bunch of different things that can be going wrong in your heart that people aren't aware of. It could be a heart valve. It could be anything like that. And that's really why getting a heart check and educating yourself on what to do if sudden cardiac arrest happens to one of your loved ones is really important. So getting a heart check, you are aware that there's nothing wrong with your heart, because heart checks, they're not part of yearly physicals. So having a heart check event at our high school is really important. So students ages 13 to 18 can come and make sure their heart is healthy.
That's great. And you're absolutely right. It's important to have this information, whether you yourself are experiencing a heart episode or somebody you know and love is experiencing one as well. My father's had heart issues a couple times in his life. It's been terrifying, and it's been good to have this information should something like this happen again. And he knows this information as well should he experience something like this again himself. But why is it important, especially for people your age, to be understanding these fundamentals?
It's really important because sudden cardiac arrest is rising across the nation on teenagers specifically. So it's happening during sports, especially to athletes because of the stress on their heart, and not even just sports, but in the classrooms too. So that's why it's really important we equip schools with AEDs and CPR training amongst the staff and the coaches and the students. And it's really important for students to know that they can be at risk and that they should know the steps to take if sudden cardiac arrest occurs.
Well, it's great to have that information out there. I won't hold up too much more of your time, Matilda. I do have one more question for you. Once American Heart Month passes, once this month is over, what other things are you going to be doing to continue to educate the community on heart disease and to continue to make these strides here in West Bloomfield?
Well, I hope to expand this beyond the community of West Bloomfield and hopefully inspire other communities and schools to start their own West Bloomfield Has Heart chapter, and hopefully even turn this to a Michigan Has Heart, making sure that all the schools in Michigan are equipped with the things they need to stay prepared and to stay safe.
Well, it's incredible to hear of everything you do, and we thank you so much for everything you do. Best of luck to the future. Matilda, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I always love hearing these stories of these younger kids, these high school kids who are already devoting so much to helping the world and to helping their community. And it's amazing to hear of everything that Matilda has done so far and that she's going to be continuing to doing in the future. So we really appreciate having her on the program to talk about everything that she's done. We're going to take another quick break and jump into some more stories right after this. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent of West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
what people are watching in Keego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. As we were mentioning at the top of the show, there is going to be a very, very big winter storm making its way to Michigan that's going to go into effect this Wednesday afternoon and will go until Thursday morning. So going to be a lot of car care that's going to be taking place within that time to make sure that your cars are properly taken care of. And just recently, our very own Kevin McIntosh had a conversation with West Bloomfield Midas Auto Repair owner Alex Ho to talk about how to properly care for your cars in this winter season.
So from Midas Auto Repair in West Bloomfield, we have owner Alex Ho joining us. Thank you for being here, Alex.
Hey, of course. Thank you so much, Kevin.
I think you are in a very unique position and occupation, specifically in automotive and automotive repair in our community, because a lot of us, for the most part, we can experience car issues during the winter time. So from what you've seen, let's get straight into it. What are some of the most common car issues that you see during the winter months in West Bloomfield?
So unfortunately, it's going to be really batteries. Extreme temperatures, hot and cold, will kill a battery. You got tires, right? It's getting icy. People that you lose air in your tires when the temperature drops. So we're getting a lot of customers with tire issues, and then issues with no heat, right? This is the first time that people are using their heat and they're realizing that there's a problem with it, whether it's blowing hot or cold, whether it's blowing cold or whether maybe it's not blowing air at all. So those are really the main three.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. So I want to kind of step into those. Just a side question real quick. Battery, tires, and heat. What are some signs that we can kind of see that our battery may be losing its power and may not be up to par for the winter season?
So the real way is batteries really only last between 4 to 6 years. So if you're in that window, you should be extra vigilant. Go to your repair shop, have them test your battery. And that's kind of the only way, right. For that 4 to 6 year window. Also when you go to a repair shop, sometimes you get a lot of information. It's hard to understand, hard to remember. Mm-hmm. But what's really common is that we'll see a battery, and batteries, they leak battery acid. They sometimes look like a coral reef. I don't know if you've ever gone into your storage room at home and you whipped out an old Duracell battery and it's got a coral reef growing on it. If you've ever been told that your battery has that, then you really want to get it cleaned off, because that battery acid, it corrodes the battery, kills the battery prematurely. It's not able to get a good connection. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining your battery well by making sure that those terminals are cleaned off.
Yes, please. I'm so glad you said it. I literally just recently had to replace my battery, so I can 100%. I can 100% relate to that. Yeah, it's important. My neighbors and a few people, so I completely understand. Real quick, tires also. I want to speak on it. Is there a certain amount of tread or something? What should we be looking for to make sure our tires are winter ready?
So tires are measured in 30 seconds of an inch. Most vehicles, like passenger vehicles, like your RAV4, your Camry, your Ford Escape, when they're new, you're at about 30 seconds of an inch. And when you want to replace your tires, when they get down to about 3 or 4, you can use the penny test, right, to check. But really around 3 or 4 is when you want to get your tires replaced. Mm-hmm. That's how you'll know. Proper tire maintenance is that you rotate your tires every 5,000 miles, which is really for most people twice a year. Okay. And so if you're doing that, your mechanic should be telling you, hey, your tires are at 7:30 seconds or 8:30 seconds or 4:30 seconds, so you know when to change your tires.
Thank you. Okay. And just for clarification also, when you mean rotate the tires, I want you to kind of explain that. You mean like take the tires and just switch out their location where they actually are?
Yeah, yep. Basically, the fronts go to the back go to the front.
Yep, thank you. I just want to break it down in the simplest terms. Join me right here, live on the Splash from Midas Auto Repair in West Bloomfield. We have owner Alex Ho talking about preparing our cars for the winterizing, and different things that we can do to be proactive with our vehicles. Now, we spoke on batteries, spoke on tires. Let's just get to the heat very briefly.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned before, you really don't necessarily know whether or not your heat is working until the winter time. You can even maybe put it on during the summer and you can have the illusion that it's working, but maybe it's the outside heat. So just tell us some things that we can do to maybe even check to make sure our heat is working before the winter. What are some common reasons why heat wouldn't work in your vehicle in West Bloomfield, please?
Yeah, so the most common issue is really the heat's blowing, or you turn your heat on, you're getting air, but it's not warm. That's really, or it's coming out and it's just not powerful. It's not as warm as it should be. That's really nine times out of 10, that's related to the coolant, which is a fluid in your vehicle. Most vehicles have 5 major fluids, right? You got engine oil, power steering, transmission, and gasoline. Coolant is one of the major ones. And even though the name says cool in it, coolant is what's actually converted to turn into heat in your vehicle. All the science behind your engine, the coolant is really the blood of your heat. And so what we find is customers either are low on coolant, because it leaked out or it evaporated, or they have an issue with that system where it's leaking coolant. Coolant is, what happens is coolant over time will accumulate contaminants. It's just like, if you left a cup of coffee on your front counter, you're not going to probably drink that after 3 days because it might have some stuff in it.
Good point.
Same thing happens to your coolant. Over time, lots of contaminants get into it, and those contaminants, well, your engine's really hot, right?
Right.
And those contaminants burn up and evaporate, and then that fluid just gradually, naturally decreases. So it's something that you want to make sure you do a radiator flush or a coolant service. You do that routinely. Every car is different, but the hard and fast rule is about 50,000 miles, 5 years, and get some fresh coolant in there, and that'll make sure that your heat's running nice.
Oh, first of all, thank you, Alex, for that very valuable information. I'm kind of experiencing the same thing right now with the heat thing, so I'll have to make sure I check my coolant. And just for clarification also, antifreeze and coolant, are they the same thing?
They are. Yep.
Just want to paint that picture also. Thank you so much. Hey, Alex, we appreciate everything that you brought to the table, all of your valuable information. Any additional tips, practices, or notes that you want to give to our audience that we didn't discuss today about winterizing our vehicles?
Yeah, so on the topic of coolant, a lot of customers top off their coolant. And you just want to make sure that when you go to the gas station to buy it, or you go to the Advanced Auto Parts or wherever, you want to make sure that it's, because they sell it in concentrate, or they sell it in 50-50 where it's already been diluted with water. And you want to make sure that whatever you're putting in has been 50-50 diluted with water. Because if you put the straight concentrate stuff in there, it's not going to work. So just make sure you're doing that. Call me anytime. I'm happy to give that advice over the phone. I can look up the specification on your car, tell you what type of coolant you need so you get the right one.
Nice.
No, otherwise, yeah, I'm happy to be a resource and really appreciate being on the show.
And we appreciate you too, Alex. Thank you again for serving our West Bloomfield community, our drivers alike, and making sure that we are all safe. Once again, from Midas Auto Repair in West Bloomfield, owner Alex Ho. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you to Alex for joining us on The Splash, and thank you for Kevin for getting that important information, now more important than ever, as this snowstorm is going to be making its way to Michigan very, very soon. But the winter can't stop the West Bloomfield seniors from having a great time at West Bloomfield Connect as Mardi Gras made its way to Parks Connect Senior Center for an early celebration of Fat Tuesday. Fun games, tasty treats, and as always, a lot of good company and smiles. You can see some of the photos right now on our screen if you are watching on civiccentertv.com, but all smiles, all great times to be had with West Bloomfield Connect Senior Center. You're invited to join the fun at Connect. Just visit wbparks.org or learn about more activities on their Facebook page at WB Parks to learn how you can get involved and how you can join in on the fun right here in Greater West Bloomfield. But that is going to do it for us today on our show, getting all that important information out here to prepare yourselves for that snowstorm. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.